welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Jillian and I make videos on living a more minimal and intentional life. In last week's video, I tackled my handbag collection and I asked you to share in the comments what area I should tackle next, and it was a pretty resounding shoes. So that's what we're going to be doing in today's video. As you saw in the intro, I have quite a few pairs of shoes and boots, and so what I thought I would do is break all of those up into three categories. The first are the shoes that I'm absolutely keeping. They are the ones that I wear the most. And then the second category are shoes that I love but I actually don't wear that often, so I think I'm going to put them on trial. The third category is shoes that I am getting rid of because either I don't really wear them or they've just worn out. So to start, I'm going to do the shoes that I am keeping, and let's start off with something really boring, my snow boots. These I don't wear a lot, but I use them whenever we've had heavy snow and I have to shovel the driveway or take the dog out, or it's like super cold outside. So these obviously stay. And then I have another pair of boots that I basically use on the more mild winter days to take the dog out or to do school drop off. These are just so great for slipping on during the colder months. So these will also stay. And then moving on to my more stylish boots. First up is my black moto boots. If you have seen any of my style content, then you would have definitely seen these boots because these are my most worn boot. And I actually started officially tracking the amount of times that I wear my clothing items back in December. And from December to the end of March, I wore these boots 41 times, and they were by far my most worn pair of boots. Then next up are these platform rain boots, and they have a zipper up the front. I love these. I wear these on snowy or slushy days and I don't have to worry about my feet getting wet, and these are just a very versatile pair of boots, and I like how they look with my outfits as well. Next up, I have these silver snakeskin style boots. These are the only dressy pair of boots that I own, and this is what I wear if I ever go out for a nice dinner or I have any kind of party or anything to go to. And they just go with everything, and they look really good with my silver handbag, which is usually what I pair them with. They're also really comfortable, so they are not going anywhere. Next up, I'm going to go through shoes. First, I have these leopard print shoes that have a little bit of a platform. They have a faux fur lining. These were my second most worn pair of footwear this past winter, and I just love these. I think they add a fun element to my outfits, and they're pretty warm and they keep my feet dry because they have this like plastic lining, and these are also staying. I have a pair of loafers that I thrifted probably in 2022. I really like these and they're going to stay. I mentioned in my handbag decluttering video that I would like for my future handbags that I buy to not have any gold or silver hardware or have very minimal hardware. And I would also like that for my shoes. So this gold detailing across here, I don't really love it, and I think I might try to remove it, and then they would just be a pair of plain black loafers, and I feel like that would make them more versatile. So these are going to stay, and I'm going to try to remove this. Next up, I have a pair of suede Birkenstock clogs. And these were a Christmas gift from my family, and I really like them. They're just an easy shoe to slip on, and I think I will use them a lot during the summer. So I'm excited to wear these more. For the final pair of shoes, I have these dressy slingbacks. They're white. They have a nice little like basket weave pattern. And in the winter, I wear my silver boots whenever I have something to dress up for, but in the summer I reach for these. So these are really my only two dressy pairs of shoes. And now for my new favorite category, sneakers. First up, we have these suede Adidas sneakers, and this was my first purchase after my no-buy year last October. I had been thinking about these for a long time and actually wanting them to replace a pair of sneakers that were getting pretty worn out, and I love these. I actually wore them quite a bit over the winter on the more mild, dry days, and I have been wearing them pretty much nonstop all spring. If my black moto boots are my go-to shoe in the winter, these are going to be the equivalent shoe during the warm weather months. I can already tell. I just love them so much. And then I have a second pair of sneakers, these silver and black Adidas, and these were actually a Christmas gift from my family. So these are not going anywhere. And actually I shared these with my daughter. She loves them. I was happy that she didn't wear them today, or I would have had to put a picture in. But love these. Now for more boring sneakers, I have my running shoes, and these are pretty new. I think I got them in January or February, and I will use these until they're no good for running anymore, and then they will be downgraded to my gardening shoes. For example, these are my current gardening shoes. They are my old running shoes, and they're getting pretty beat up. So when my current running shoes are no good anymore, they will replace these. For the last category of shoes that I am keeping, I have two pairs of sandals. I have these brown fisherman style sandals. They're vintage, and I thrifted them a few years ago, and I just love them. I did have an issue where they came apart, but I used some shoe goo to put them back together, and they've been fine ever since. These are probably my most worn shoe in the summer. Then I also have these black leather slides. I also thrifted these, and I have worn them a lot. I'm a little bit on the fence about them, but I am going to keep them and see how I feel about them this summer and then make a decision later. But for right now, I'm excited to wear them. Next up are the boots that are kind of on trial. I really do love them, but I don't wear them as much as my other boots. And so I kind of want to see if I can get more wear out of them and then make a decision. But I'm trying to be very mindful about my decluttering because I don't want to just get rid of things just for the sake of getting rid of things. And I want to make sure that I'm not going to regret my decisions. So first up are these Doc Marten Leona boots. I bought these in 2018, and from 2018 to 2020 I wore them so much and I loved them. But after that, they kind of got replaced with my moto boots, which I had actually owned since 2012, but I only really started wearing them after 2020. So because I loved these at one point and because they're so comfortable, I want to see if I will wear them more, and I will be looking to wear these more in the fall and winter and make a decision after that. My next pair of boots in my maybe pile are these moto boots. They are so cool. They have so many great details and I love them. However, I tend to reach for these more, and I think the reason is because they have a higher shaft, so they're just warmer in the winter. And then also these are a little bit squeaky and not as comfortable as these. So those two things kind of stop me from wearing them as well. But I'm gonna see if I wear them more in the fall and maybe right now before it gets too hot. I think these could be a better alternative to these during the transitional months. And the third pair of boots that I'm a little on the fence about are these brown harness boots. I bought these as my very first purchase of my low-buy year back in January, and I kind of settled for them. I really wanted a pair of chocolate brown boots like this, but I couldn't find any. And these have like some chocolate brown in them, so it goes really well with my Coach handbag, which I like. And I know I've only had these since January and I've only worn them 4 times, so I want to see if I will actually wear them more now and then again in the fall. So these will stay for now. Finally, we have the shoes that I'm going to declutter. And first up, we have these suede and leopard print booties. I think these boots are so cool. I think they add a really fun element to an outfit, but I don't like where they hit me at the ankle, and also I just don't reach for them. I don't feel like the style is me anymore. Next up, I have a pair of Oxfords. They are navy and blue, and these were an impulse purchase following the end of my no-buy year. I had found an Eastbury skirt at a thrift store, and Eastbury was like one of those brands that felt aspirational to me at one point in my life. So that sent me down a Eastbury rabbit hole, and I found these. I thought they were so cool. I just loved how they looked. I loved the cute little bib detail. And I envisioned wearing them mostly with a pair of blue wool dress pants that I had, which I have since decided I don't really like. So that's one outfit gone. And then I could maybe wear them with a couple of other things, but I don't feel like they're a versatile item. And I don't want to hang on to something that I am rarely going to wear that doesn't go with everything in my wardrobe. So I'm going to get rid of these. The next pair of shoes that I'm decluttering are these gray suede mules. I thrifted these maybe in 2022, and I think they're really nice, but I just don't reach for them. And I can't imagine I will reach for them more than my sneakers or sandals. And sometimes too, when I wear them, especially if it's a hot day, they rub a little bit at my pinky toe, and I just don't want shoes that cause blisters or pain. So these are going to go. So the next pair of shoes I'm getting rid of are these very chunky sandals. I got these secondhand a few years ago, and I have rarely worn them. I think they're really cool, but they're almost too cool. Like they're just too out there. They're super high, super chunky, and I just know that this is not my style. So I'm going to get rid of them. And then finally, for the last two pair of shoes, these are actually shoes that have come to the end of their life because they are just really worn out. First up are these Nike sneakers. I actually took these from my son when he grew out of them, and I have worn them for the past 3 years. They have gotten so much wear. They are very worn out. The insides are worn out, and it is time for them to go. And since I got a couple of new pairs of sneakers to replace these, I won't ever wear these again. And then the last pair of shoes are these Birkenstock sandals. They are worn out. The cork is cracked. The bottoms are worn out. My dog has chewed them a little bit when he was a puppy, and so it's time for these to go in the trash. And I might replace these at some point. I think I would get a different style of sandal from them. I would probably do the Arizonas, but I'm gonna wait and see how I feel about it because I have a couple of pairs of sandals. I have my sneakers. I may not even need these. And then I guess the final pair of shoes that I'm actually keeping are my slippers. That is it for my shoe declutter. I'm really happy with the items that I chose to keep and quite pleased with the items I chose to get rid of as well. I hope that you enjoyed that video. If you did, I would really appreciate it if you could give it a like. And if you want to see more decluttering videos, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.